333:27. Okay. 333:27. 27. Okay. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatha Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suthe Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna devotees. Being with Bhagavatam day after day and early part of the morning, it is very special fortune. Thank you all for letting me hang out with you this morning. Of course, it was Shatrupa's session, but she decided to pass it to me this morning. So this chapter is about activities of Kapila, and this is the culmination chapter about the devotional teachings of Lord Kapila, with a very wonderful example by Mother Devhuti, example in practice of the teachings. We are having a case study of the teachings, case study of the problem. And the problem is her husband decides to leave. And of course, later her son also decides to leave. So how am I going to survive? So then she starts her questions in the 25th chapter to Lord Kapila. Tell me, what is this relationship between Purusha and this Jiva, or Prakriti and this Jiva, or a relationship between, man and husband and wife, like that she starts, and how do you overcome it? And then Kapila Muni gives different teachings, but he says Bhakti is the best. And then she doesn't stop there. She keeps on asking, okay, tell me about bhakti. And after the chapter about bhakti, then she asks about, tell me about jnana. After the chapter, then she asks about, tell me about yoga. So now in this current chapter, in the 33rd chapter, she's putting them all into practice. So with that practice, where is she going? Is this 27th verse. Nityaruda samaditva paravruta guna brahma nasasmara tadatmanam swapne drustam ivotitaha. Nityaruda. In the yoga levels, there are two stages Krishna mentions in the 6th chapter in Bhagavad Gita. And she is in the Arudha stage, and then she's there Nitya Ruddha. She's practicing that like pretty, in our language we say Tivra Bhakti, Nitya Ruddha, Samadhitva, and Samadhi. So nice, no? In Samadhi. It is so relevant for us. I was talking with one of our devotees recently, and then I was telling him, we're already 50s, and maximum we will run for another 20 years, like that. I was talking like that. Then it dawned on me that I was thinking, when Rompal Maharaj has been telling next 50 years, a proper disciple has telling next 50 years, I was thinking I'll see that. But, then it dawned me, oh my God, only 20 more years, that's it. So when I'm going to practice devotion service? So anyway, we'll ask blessings from Mother Devahuti. So she's practicing Nitya Arudha in Samadhi. When she's practicing like that, Paravritta, she gets freed. What is it? She freed from guna. She got free from guna, gunas of material nature. And not only she got freed from gunas of material nature, she also got freed from illusion, Brahma. And then how it manifested is nasasmara tadatmanam. So nasasmara, there is no smarana of the self. Basically, she forgot about herself. So much so, swapne drusto ivotitaha. So, swapne, we see a lot of things in the swapna, in the dreams. When we arise from it, then we forget everything, we come to the reality. Similarly, she has come to reality. So again, the shloka, Nityaruda samadhitvat paravruta guna brahma nasasmara tadatmanam swapne drishtam ivotitaha. Synonyms, Srila Prabhupada. Nitya, eternal, or the situated, samadhitvat, from trance, paravritta, freed from guna of the modes of material nature. 1 second, devotees. Brahma, illusion, nasasmara, she did not remember. Tata, then, Atmanam, her material body, swapne, in a dream, drashtum, seen, eva, just as, uttitaha, one who has arisen. Translation. Situated in eternal trance and freed from illusion, impelled by the modes of material nature, she forgot her material body, just as one forgets his different bodies in dream. Purport. I'll read again the translation. Situated in eternal trance, freed from illusion, impelled by the modes of material nature, she forgot her material body, just as one forgets his different bodies in a dream purport. A great Vaishnava said that he who has no remembrance of his body is not bound to material existence. As long as we are conscious of our bodily existence, it is to be understood that we are living conditionally under the three modes of material nature. When one forgets his bodily existence, his conditional material life is over. This forgetfulness is actually possible when we engage our senses in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In the conditional state, one engages his senses as a member of a family or as a member of society or country. But when one forgets all such membership in material circumstances and realizes that he is an eternal servant of the Supreme Lord, that is actual forgetfulness of material existence. This forgetfulness occurs when one renders service unto the Lord. A devotee no longer works with the body for sense gratification with family, society, country, humanity, and so on. He simply works for the Supreme Personality Godhead Krishna, that is perfect Krishna consciousness. A devotee always merges in transcendental happiness, and therefore he has no experience of material distresses. This transcendental happiness is called eternal bliss. According to the opinion of devotees, constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord is called samadhi or trance. If one is constantly in trance, there is no possibility of his being attacked or even touched by the modes of material nature. As soon as one is free from the contamination of three material modes, he no longer has to take birth to transmigrate from one form to another in this material world. So I was going through the yesterday's purport as well, and it was so amazing. Yesterday's purport, the things that were amazing was Prabhupada saying, in the first sentences only, that he says, Devhuti was already conversant with absolute truth. It may be questioned why she was meditating. The explanation is that when one theoretically discusses the absolute truth, he becomes situated in the impersonal concept of the absolute truth. That hit me strongly. So even in our practice of devotion service, we are only concerned about information or knowledge, then we are not getting the transcendence. Then the question comes, how do we pass the stage of theory, when we are practicing devotion service, especially when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is given by Vyasadeva himself in the first chapter. He says, if you do the study properly, he says, you're going to see the Supreme Lord, Tatshanat, right away. What is it? Tatshanat. Mahamuni Kimva Parayarishwara Sadyo Hrudi Avarudyate Adra Kritivi Shushushibi Tatshanat. If one is doing the study properly, then, and then Srila Prabhupada also comments that when Sutta Goswami says in the third chapter, I drank the Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, then Prabhupada says there also that the idea of studying or reading Srimad Bhagavatam is that we should see Krishna in the face of Srimad Bhagavatam. And of course, for that he says one needs to pay a lot of attention. That means he needs to have good habits and good qualities and so on. But Prabhupada says, never mind about all those things. Just give attention and devotion. That's it. We're going to see Krishna. And also there are, of course, in between, Prabhupada also comments that dhyana is the seventh stage in Ashtanga Yoga, but whereas in Bhakti Yoga, it just comes in third stage. And then there's something else that I really picked up was, yeah, here it is. In the Ashtanga Yoga system, the seventh stage of perfection is dhyana. This dhyana is a third stage in devotional service. There are 9 stages of devotional service. First is hearing, then comes chanting, and then contemplating. By executing devotional service, therefore, one automatically becomes an expert jnani and expert yogi. In other words, jnana and yoga are different preliminary stages of devotional service. So, Devahuti was expert in accepting the real substance. She contemplated the form of Vishnu in detail, as advised by her smiling son Kapil Dev. At that time, she was thinking of Kapil Dev, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore, she completely perfected her austerities, penances, and transcendental realization. You know, it is said that Devahuti, just combined it together. She didn't make any compromise. Whatever opportunity, austerity. Okay, go for austerities. And then the penance, then the transcendental realization. So with that, Mother Devahuti come to this Nitya Ruda Samadhitva stage. So similarly, in our devotion service also, we can also aspire, follow her example. Taking note of a very short period we have. People look for notice, or people say that King Parikshit got a 7-day notice. But we also have a notice in the in the way of age. There is childhood, then adulthood, and then retired and sannyas. The renounced stages. So, or not only that, the birth, death, or old age and disease, right? Then these are also giving us the notice to us. Um, so then that brings the importance of time. And one thing I'm noticing is when we get to the importance of time, we are only doing one of the two important things. One is either we are trying to ramp up our devotional service aggressively, or we're just busy coming to the Brahman platform or impersonal stage, as Prabhupada notes in the previous purport. You know, unless when one is theoretically discuss absolute truth, he becomes situated, in the impersonal concept of the absolute truth. So meaning, because it is so stuck situation being in this Kali Yuga. So the absorption is becoming how to fix the things. That is one side. Another extreme is, just like, Tevra Bhakti. Without fixing the things, we go to the Tevra Bhakti. Then it's like a spin again, you know, until the things are settled and we are trying to do Tevra Bhakti, then we're going to spin at the same place. So if we can combine them both, meaning cleaning the home and heart, and at the same time actively cultivating devotional service or devotional emotions, then we get to have an experience of Krishna. When we get to have an experience of Krishna, and when it develops to this Nitya Ruda stage and to the Samadhitva stage, then transcendence becomes easier. I will share one, in the interest of time, I will share one small experience I was having recently. 2 days back, I was making dosa, and then, one part of the dosa was, I was making dosa, and then I was observing that when it is sufficiently heated up, the dosa is getting detached from the pan and coming out. So I was thinking, like, the importance of detachment. Because when we talk about devotion service, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo, Yato Bhakti Radokshaje, is that you have to practice devotion service to Adokshaje. When we do that, the two important gifts is uh, Janayati Ashu Vairagyam, Jnanam Chatad Ahetukam. Vairagyam and Jnanam are, very quick, blessings or fruits of that devotion to Krishna. So the detachment is necessary. Without detachment, as you said, like, we're going to just the Tivra Bhakti, we're going to spin at the same place. So then I was I was thinking like that. Then yesterday when I was making those, uh, most of it came out. The corner of the part was not coming. Then I thought, okay, it needs little more heat. Then I moved the pan towards that part of the pan towards the heat side. Then it came out. So then I was thinking, then it makes sense that we need troubles or pains in this world, so that pains, when they produce sufficient heat, when there is sufficient heat, then we are there's a possibility of detachment. And then after detachment, then we should pick up the devotional moods, um, as exemplified by Mother Devhuti, and and uh, and we should aspire to come to this stage. Prabhupada mentioning in this paragraph, Prabhupada says, a devotee always merges in transcendental happiness, and therefore he has no experience of material distress. The transcendental happiness is called eternal bliss. According to the opinion of devotees, constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord is called samadhi or trance. If one is constantly in trance, there is no possibility of his being attacked or even touched by the modes of nature. As soon as one is freed from the contamination of three modes, he no longer has to take birth to transmigrate from one form to another in this material world. Uh, that's a short story, dear devotees, this morning. How Mother Devhuti was like, she's good. She is very exemplary um, from every aspect of her life. Uh, when she was young, she was the daughter of, the Emperor Manu, not just the daughter of a king or even Devata. Even she was the daughter of Manu, and she has such an opulence, and even Gandharvas go after her, proposing to her. But then, she gets to hear from Narada Muni about Karda Muni, that she chooses Karda Muni. And not only she chooses Karda Muni, and when she comes to Karda Muni's ashram, she completely adopts the lifestyle of being a wife of a sage. Her body gets emancipated. She serves her husband so nicely. Her body gets emaciated, and then hair gets matted, and she's princess. But she's so good. And after that, like, she has a nice family life, and and her husband starts leaving the home. Then, like, it is such a nice dialogue that happens. And then Kardamuni stays back, and after having Kapil Muni as son, Kardamuni doesn't even say to her. He just doesn't even say bye to her, and he just leaves. So then it hits her hard, and then she gets into this discussion, and she is perfecting, and she is giving her a wonderful example. Again, this nice verse, for us, all of us, to aspire to come. Nitya Ruda Samadhitvat Paravrita Guna Brahma Na Sasmara Tadatmana Swapne Drishtam Evotitaha. Situated in eternal trance and free from illusion impelled by the modes of material nature, she forgets her material body, just as one forgets his different bodies in a dream. And Prabhupada gives the instruction for us, how to do this in our families, because all of our family situation, he says, this forget in the condition stage, one engages his senses as a member of family or member of society, etc. But one forgets all such membership in material circumstances, and he realizes that he is an eternal servant of the Lord. That is actual forgetfulness of material existence. So he's encouraging us keep continuing to do our duties, but only difference is forgetfulness of body, not forgetting the soul. That's it, dear devotees. I have office call to jump onto at 8 o'clock. So shall we wrap it up in 2 minutes? Anybody want to say anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari
Let's
Bol.
accept my humble obeisances. Offers to Srila Prabhupada.
Well, that's it, man, bro.
Thank you, Prabhuji. The one thing that you mentioned about from the previous purport, just theoretical reading, is not sufficient. That actually leads to impersonal beliefs, and that is even dangerous. The way to overcome that is to practice bhakti or apply that in our bhakti sadhana. Also, Guru Maharaj, he mentions any knowledge is to awaken bhakti, not just for collecting information. So you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah, Lord also confirms this in the 10th canto when he was speaking to Krishna. If this knowledge has this, byproduct of impersonal, taking one to the impersonal understanding of the Lord. So,
yeah. Thanks for sharing. And the other sharing is we are doing our 10th canto, 87th chapter there. The personified Vedas also glorify. It's so interesting that even in the beginning stages of bhakti, one is freed from illusion. The fear and attachment is removed by the Lord's grace. So I felt that is such a nice, the practice of bhakti is it has a lot of benefit. There is nothing that we can lose anything, even at the beginning stages, what to speak of once get to that mature stage. I just wanted to share that as well.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. But there is also danger accompanying that. The danger is, the conditional part of the self is making us get. I'm learning this just recently because of instructions of my teacher. That the danger is we're getting accustomed or we're getting comfortable, getting those freedom, and then not aspiring to further develop bhakti. We are only focusing on the detachment, but not the devotional attachment other side. So just in relation to the same concept, how the knowledge takes to the freedom, and but not the bhakti. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Are there any practical ways that we can always keep remembering the Lord in our day to day?
It's very simple, Prabhu. Sorry, I'm little rushing it up. Very simple. Devotion is all about serving the devotees and being blessed. So we just need to keep refining that. Not that we can figure it out our own, or we master the yoga, we master the austerity, we master the penance. The last Prabhupada saying in the previous purport, she was practicing at the same time she was remembering the sweet smile of Kardamuni. So the bhakti is very simple in that way. Bhakti needs to be gotten from bhakta. So we need to refine our service mood and to our source of bhakti. Then is all this Nitya Ruddha, Samadhitvat, and all these stages comes. Actually, we get those experiences because of that, because of that initial submission to Guru and Krishna. And then after a little while, or our anarthas will overwhelm, and there are subtle layers of anarthas, so they overwhelm us. So then we're getting stuck. But we just need to continue to refine that which is bringing bhakti into our life. Yes, yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad, yasya prasad na gati kutopi. So you just need to make it to nitya ruddha and samadhi, and then all the stages mentioned here, Prabhu. Make sense, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, devotees. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.